Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Girl Talk Mental Health dares to go where others won't. We unpack the hard truths about mental health, dissect trending topics, and challenge the stereotypes and stigmas holding us back. From navigating the 6 dimensions of wellness to redefining social norms, this is more than a discussion. It's a revolution in how we care for our minds and souls. Ready for bold, honest conversations that spark change? Let's dive in. It's time for real talk with real impact.
Real men, real battles, real strength. On Girl Talk Mental Health, we honor men's mental health with stories that hit hard and heal deep. From silent battles to breakthrough moments, we are reminded that mental strength isn't about pretending, it's about healing. Today, we're confronting the silent epidemic of male suffering with our special guest, Mr. Hollis Cam, who's walked through a powerful journey of strength. So let's welcome Mr. Hollis Cam to the stage.
Hello. How you doing, Virginia?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, welcome to Girl Talk Mental Health, and tell the viewers a little bit about who you are so they can be familiar with you.
Sure. So my name is Hollis Choi Cam. I'll explain why, the full name. Um, so I am a executive leadership coach, as well as a human resources executive. I'm a body positive advocate, and I'm an artist. And my artist name is actually my middle name, Choi. Hence the full name. And it's important that I'm naming the fullness of it because it's bringing my full self into basically everything that I do. Because for many years, have definitely not done that.
Okay. What type of artist? You a singer or?
I'm a singer.
Okay. Well, I should have told you ahead of time. You could have been the commercial for today. Are we good still, too? Just let me know.
It is the morning. I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't let you warm up. Okay, I'll let you slide this time. Okay. All right, you ready to dive into this
Yes,
conversation? Okay.
yes.
So, what was one moment in your life where you felt the pressure to be strong, but inside you were falling apart?
Oof. I would say um, the moments when hmm, I was separated or got separated, um, from my ex-husband. I think what happened there was totally, of course, for me, that changed and shifted my world, and then eventually moved into divorce. But it
Mhm.
shifted my world where emotionally I was hurting. Um, and at the same time, it was also a moment where I think I got a promotion at that time at work. And also, I felt that I needed to be strong, not only at work, but also in my own circles, whether if it was family and friends, just because of um, what it took to get there, meaning to actually be married,
Mhm.
um, to be one of the first actually in the family to be married. So
Okay.
I think for all of that, to know that this is where I felt I failed. I didn't show emotion. I just kind of like brushed it off and said, okay, it just didn't work, and that's it.
Mhm.
And eventually that did catch up to me.
Okay, that's a powerful reflection. So let's think about that a little deeper now. Why do you think it was so hard? It's so hard for men to say, "I need help."
Because of I would say just culturally, especially in the Black community, especially for me in the Caribbean community, especially being men and told not to show your emotions,
Mhm.
to be a man, don't cry, any and all of that. So I would say, as a Black culture, especially, so I'm going to talk about especially me growing up, and I'm in my 40s. So when you heard someone was going to see a psychologist or a mental health professional, you thought it was like total like way left, right? Like
Mhm.
they were really quote unquote crazy.
Yeah.
And I say quote unquote because I don't necessarily like to use that word, but that was the word that was used back then for us. And you didn't want to be labeled as that. So that coupled with the, be a man, be strong, be powerful all the time, which that could also go totally the total opposite way of
Mhm.
where it turns into aggression.
Mhm. From passive to aggressive, yes.
Exactly. Yep.
So, what did it take for you to break the silence? Did you have a support system? Did you go to therapy? Did you just have an aha moment, or what was your breakthrough moment?
Yeah, for me it was actually during my so as I mentioned earlier, I'm a coach. So I during that time is where I decided that okay, we need to just zoom in this a little bit more. But if I go back even further back, really when I was like late 20s, early 30s, I had a friend who was in personal development, or at least focused in personal development. She read the books and definitely passed that along to me, and I started to go to different conferences and workshops at that point. But really, fast forward in just as I was turning 40, I decided that I wanted to be a coach, and in the coaching program, we had to have a coach as well. So
Mm,
that helped the journey around what mental health looks like for me, and definitely during the time of um, the pandemic, um, as well as that's when I was also going through my divorce. It was like, okay, no, you need to see a therapist, and I did. So I would say it's the journey through kind of 30s being um, open and what was around me where around other folks were doing this kind of thing or learning about themselves more, to then going through my coaching journey and then going through at that time one of the most difficult times in my life. It's just like I need help and I need extra help.
mhm. So, you mentioned this earlier, but why do you think that men are conditioned to suffer in silence? Just, you mentioned a little bit earlier about boys don't cry, men don't
Yep,
cry.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Why do we do that?
I mean, if we go back, we could kind of go way back. I mean, in generations back, and we had to be the strong ones, or at least we were told that we had to be the strong ones, and they're told that we had to be the powerful ones. We were told that we could not show emotion because emotions were weak. We couldn't be vulnerable because vulnerability is weak, and it's quite the opposite.
Mhm. And it kind of goes way back to the ancestry slavery days and
I
stuff like
was I
that.
was gonna go there.
Yeah, you share it because the younger generation they don't think about those things. They kind of live in surface level,
Hmm.
and they don't teach too much of that anymore in the schools. It's like test, test, test. But that generational being strong and surviving through. Look, they think they have it hard, and I wasn't in the slavery days, but hey, you could just imagine if you have that type of empathetic mindset of what they went through and how they had to be strong, and especially with men, making sure that the men stood strong through all of the things that they had to go through to carry the family through the whole ordeal that they went through. But yeah, it's a lot of history behind that conditioning.
It is.
So
It
what
is.
you think we need to do to shift that culture, especially with the younger generations and the stigmas and stereotypes surrounding men and mental health and everything?
Sure. I mean, it starts with just yourself or oneself, right?
Mhm.
So just kind of getting the support or being around a support system that would um, welcome you in being emotional, in crying, in showing and sharing your emotions, in being vulnerable, right? So that support system could look differently. It
Mhm.
could look like a therapist. It could look like a coach. It could look like a men's group. It could look like family. It could look like friends. So that's one is just working on self is the most important thing. And then you share that out with the people that are around you. So whether if it's your, your father or your parent, because I also want to say it's not only men who think this, it's also women who think that men should be a particular way too,
Yeah,
right? So it's
yeah.
not only just sharing it, in the, downline or upline or,
Mhm.
just only men. It's basically just in the community. So in essence, it's really sharing and being supportive, or at least saying to folks that, hey, the people who are around you saying this is important and this is why and this is how I am going to be. I mean, it takes a lot of strength to do that. And also, this is what it can look like. And then, of course, then sharing that with the younger generation, right? Around,
Mhm. Breaking
what
those generational cycles.
exactly. So
Mhm.
breaking the cycle, and sharing and being supportive of others, so they can share and they can be vulnerable and emotional, and not downplaying that, or not saying, and even just even changing some language around be a man. Don't cry. Only girls cry. Just little things like that can shift someone's way of thinking.
So what's one way you suggest a person would say one of those quotes in a appropriate culturally new cultural type of way to
Uh,
help men shift their
yeah,
mindset, or all of us shift their mindset? Like you said, it's all of us together.
yeah. A different way I would say is it's just asking what's going on here, what's happening in the moment, like what are you feeling?
Mm.
Um, let's get into our bodies a little bit. Like let's close our eyes and take a breath. What's happening? What's happening here? What's happening? Here. What's happening? Well, I'm holding my gut, but what's happening there
Yeah,
as well, right?
that's
So
good.
making sure that we're having conversations, with our mental health, or mentally, physically, and then even like in our heart and our gut and our soul.
Yeah, like you said, bring it back to the self.
Yep,
And so for our audience, especially the women who love these men, because you mentioned it's the women, we do it too.
we
Right.
do.
I know I remember like raising my sons. I feel guilty of doing some of that sometimes myself. And now as a therapist, I'm like, oh my goodness, why was I doing that? But that was because generationally, that's what you saw. So you kind of do what you saw,
Of
but it
course.
takes somebody to break that generational cycle of how we view men and their mental health. So, what's the one thing they could do today to support the emotional strength of men in their lives? What do you think is important for a woman to do to support the emotional strength of a man in their life?
Well, I think you hit the nose around, again, around language, right? So don't say, "Oh, be a man and do this," or "You need to do this," or "You need to be this way," right? So don't don't say language like that. Is That's what.
Point blank.
And also too, it's just being there and just listening, or allowing, the men to tap into their emotions, right? Or giving them space to do so, or allowing them to find community where they can do so as well, right? So it's kind of like this kind of, I would say, passive and active, way of being. So then, therefore, it's really helping them get the support that they need. And it may not be you may not be the primary support in the process, but just being able to give them space so that they can get that support.
That's good. No judgmental mentorship. Okay, well, let's take us a quick break, and so that people can permeate and think about all that good information that you just gave, and then we will be right back.
You weren't meant to break, you were set apart. What if your deepest pain was the birthplace of your greatest purpose? Meet Gingerbread, a child caught in the chaos of her mother's depression and suicide attempts. She never asked for trauma, shame, or to feel invisible, but she found something greater. Set Apart, The Journey to Find Hope Through Loneliness, Shame, and Death is more than a book. It's the breakthrough you didn't know you needed. If you've ever said, "I'm fine," when you were falling apart. If you've ever thought, "This story isn't for me," it is. Don't let fear, excuses, or busyness rob you of healing. This book will shatter the silence, stir your soul, and remind you, you were never forgotten. You were set apart. Set Apart, The Journey to Find Hope in Times of Shame, Loneliness, and Death by author Virginia Dale Manning. Available now, because hope can't wait.
Okay, so welcome back to the second half of Girl Talk Mental Health. We are here with Mr. Hollis Cam. And hey, if you just not popping in and you just catching the second half, you need to go rewatch the first half because he gave some great nuggets, especially to us women, about how we need to be more tender and loving and supportive to the men in our lives so that we can help them navigate and feel more comfortable and judgment free in their mental health journey. So, Cam, Mr. Hollis Cam, what is one healing habit? You gave us a lot already, or mindset shift that helped you, your personal, I'll be all in people business, see that? Help you reclaim, that help you reclaim your mental strength.
I probably have like a good five, but
Okay, crunch
um,
me.
but I would say the first thing I would say is just get into your body quickly, and you do that by breathing. And sometimes, yeah, we're breathing right normally, but it's actually taking the intentional breath like in and then out and like releasing that. So I would say do that about 11 times with your feet planted on the ground, standing. And what happens is it just shifts and gets you in your body. There's also something else called box breathing, which is basically, I would say just look it up. But in essence, it's very similar, but it gets you into your body because your body knows what to do automatically.
Mhm.
It's where your mind needs to catch up, and also your mind is in your body technically. So I would say that's one of the most one thing I would suggest.
Okay, breathe, relax, relate, release. I mean, that's
Literally,
yeah, when you keep all of that stuff in, it does. A lot of times, especially with anger, it permeates into anger, and then that's why a lot of women are too these days. But because this is June for men, but so for men, like that was why they have a lot of aggression and a lot of anger, and then that's why we have it's both sides. But that's
Mhm.
why we have a lot of domestic violence and things going on because men don't feel like they could just take a step back, breathe, relax, talk to somebody about it, develop a support system, a positive support system, and
Right.
just be able to be vulnerable and transparent about their emotions. So yeah, that's good. I appreciate all these great nuggets you are sharing with the audience today. So are you ready for my favorite part of the show? Are you
I
ready?
am. I am.
Okay, it is the spotlight, and so let's get ready for that. Ding on you.
Uh-oh.
So here we go. If you could leave the audience with one powerful truth or practice to help them thrive mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, what would it be?
Ooh. Okay. So I would say um, try different things or try different modalities or healing modalities. One may not work, and because that does not work for for you, doesn't mean that you should just give up on it altogether. Try something different. Try it at least 2 to 3 times first before saying no. So whether
Mhm.
if it's journaling, try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, keep it moving. If it's meditation, and I'm going to just tell you a quick thing. Meditation is not about just sitting still. We have guided meditation with 5 minutes that will help you. Try that. Trust me, it has helped me a lot too. So um, I could probably write a book on how many different modalities I've tried, but just keep on trying until you find the one or two that really help you the most.
Well, that's why you're a coach. They need to hook up with you, especially men, because it's very not rare, but most men, if they have that manly, tough bravo stance, don't think that they need coaching or guidance or things like that. So it's important to get those things, especially if you don't have a good friend or a good family member, right?
That's true.
And it's
True.
like what you say, try different things. And coaching, especially for men, is something new. Journaling, you mentioned journal. Most men like journaling. Like, I don't journal. Yeah, you men journal. You don't have to let nobody know you journaling. I mean, you could do it. The point is to just get that type of healing that you need.
Hmm.
So tell the audience how they can connect with you, and then if you have some type of special offer for them.
Sure. So you can connect with me on social media. So on Instagram, I'm at Hollis Cam. Also, my website is holliscam.com. And also on LinkedIn. So basically, all the social media platforms. And also, I would say the offer that I do have is um, I could offer my book as well. So, so I would say, and I guess what's the best way to do this, Virginia?
They should look in your bio because it's going to be attached to your bio. Whatever
Yep.
you have, how to connect with you, the special offer that you have for them, it'll
Okay.
be in the bio in the description of the show.
Okay. So you know
And they
what?
can go on your page of what you just said, like follow you on social media.
So you know what? The first five people, okay, who follow me or at least write a note, DM me, email me, and saying that you're from, or
Girl Talk
you
Mental Health.
heard Girl Talk, right? Exactly. Would get basically a book. So you get the e-copy of this is a journal, an action journal. It's about self-love and body confidence. So it's 36 days, very strict days to
Okay.
get you into your body and also to just shift your way of thinking of how you view of yourself. So I would say the first five people that mention Girl Talk, whether if it's on social media or email, would get the book, e-copy of the book.
See that you only get that here, y'all. You only get it here. Now I
It's
know
true.
you have some type of mantra or something. What is it? It's something that you. I can't remember what it is, but it's some kind of saying that you have five steps or some five something.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So the book is basically it talks about this five techniques of self love, and
Okay.
it's adoration, intimacy, nourishment, movement, and adornment.
Okay, I knew it was something. I couldn't think of it right now, but I knew it because it was good, and that men and everybody, not just men. I mean, ladies, if you watching, I mean, go ahead and pop in and be that five so that you can help your man figure in your life, and then y'all could do the journal together. Like, yeah, buy it as a couple thing. Like work, it could be a marriage thing. Like work with it or whatever with your
Yep.
partner or whatever. So you can also get it as well. So you want to leave us with any special nugget, anything before we close out the show for today?
Mm. I would say I would say one is do things differently than you normally would do. Try things. That's important for your own mental health. Okay. Also, focus on self. Um, I work with actually a lot of moms as well. And a lot of moms don't really focus on self. They focus on family, and it's important to focus on you first.
Mhm.
Um, Same thing with that. You're focusing on just kind of everything else externally in order to help internally with the household, but think about self first, and don't be guilty or feel guilty about focusing on you.
Now, because people want to know why. Why is it important that people focus on themselves first, especially when they think, oh, no, that's selfish if I put myself first? Why is it important to put you first?
Because if you're not well, meaning mentally, physically, socially, right, emotionally, then you can't then be there for the others in your life.
Absolutely. See, because I preach that all the time, but I feel like they need to hear it from another voice because they think like, girl, you just saying that because you the therapist. No, that's facts. That's real life. And I tell people you're the centerpiece. So if the centerpiece is well put together on the table, we're always trying to fluff the centerpiece up. We got to buy a new centerpiece. We want to clean it up because it helps the placemats look better when the centerpiece is is looking good. So you are the centerpiece, okay?
Oh
Well,
my
thank you, Mr. Hollis Cam, and we appreciate you for giving us all this plethora of knowledge and information. And men, go back and watch. Women, go back and watch it with your man so that y'all can live a healthy relationship and a healthy life individually and together. So
Yes, thank
thank
you.
you. See y'all next week for another awesome episode of Girl Talk Mental Health.
Thank you for joining us for Girl Talk Mental Health. Remember, your mental health is your wealth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to at Virginia Del Manning.